How's it going, you atheists, and welcome back to the channel. Today the topic is if you thought America was racist. Straight into it, I just want to state that racism is present everywhere. It's like the psycho stalking girlfriend or ex-girlfriend that doesn't want to leave you alone. It is everywhere, not just China. So please don't take this out of context, because I've noticed there's a lot of hypersensitive people on the internet. In other words, you guys are pussy. I'm going to talk about the racism in China as a black person, what I've experienced. Now, before we get straight into the whole racist parade, it is important to understand that racism comes in various forms. In China, I've identified 3 forms of racism. The first one being pure ignorance. Racism is ignorance, but a lot of people don't know they're being racist in a way. They kind of just consider that it's normal. For example, in China, if somebody says, "You're so black," that's something which they even say to each other. "Ni hao he." You know, they're basically going at each other's skin tone. But they don't understand when a foreigner comes into the picture and you call them too black, it can sometimes be considered as offensive, because it's like, why are you mentioning my skin tone? For what reason? So for those people, I find them very innocent, because this is something they do on a daily basis. It's just ignorance. They don't know that it's offensive. You can guide them. But the second form of racism that I'm referring to is the sheer hatred for black skin, the stereotypical black person mindset that a lot of the Chinese people have lodged in their minds. Basically, the first one is that, oh, black people smell. You might walk past somebody and they might hold their nose like this, indicating that you might smell, which can be tracked to the point that a lot of foreigners love to use cologne, and they might smell different, but it's translated into you stink. Black people stink, or black people are dirty. A lot of people, upon seeing me, have tried to rub my skin to remove the apparent dirt that might be present in my skin. So it's still a little bit of innocence, you know? It's still, they're like, but Andy, it's slightly innocent. But then we have the third tier of racism in China, and those are the people that literally spew slurs around you. For a lot of the foreigners that don't speak Chinese, they'll never hear these phrases because they don't understand the language. So they'll never encounter a situation where they feel like throwing them hands because they heard something that might be offensive about their skin. Me, on the other hand, I have learned the language to a certain degree that I literally hear people saying shit next to me, and sometimes it pisses me off. He's so black, he's so dirty, oh my god, why doesn't he shower? According to that logic, apparently if the hygiene was good, everybody would be Caucasian. So what do we classify yellow people? 50% clean. He's black, he must be violent. I'm sorry, the only thing I beat up is the pussy. Now, I'm not discounting that other places are not as bad or as serious in terms of racism, but I feel like this form of racism is the most annoying because it has a tendency of being absolutely stupid, to put it lightly. The sheer idea that you can rub against somebody's skin to clean them up because they're too black is just stupid to me. Like, it's just absolutely shambolic. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. These are the nice things that you might encounter. I'm saying nice things in inverted commas. Usually the abuse occurs more online because a lot of people don't want to be seen in public doing these certain things. If you are an influencer or some kind of star on TikTok, etc., you might encounter a lot of racism, as in go back to your country, you black monkey, etc., etc., etc. The list goes on. The annoyance is the lack of awareness that they are being racist. I think that's the most annoying thing about the whole phenomenon. For example, upon seeing a job offer online, you can see no Africans allowed, looking for European blonde people. Which is like, did this really get posted? Is this seriously a business ad? So I mean, there's an abundance of things that are really ridiculous. They don't really get to you as time goes on, but I feel like these silly little things get to you when you're in a mood that might not be positive. I usually feel affected by such comments and certain situations when I'm in a bad mood. I feel like slapping the person or being annoyed with the person. I've also encountered various weird situations when I'm trying to get a COVID test and I can't get one because for some reason, even though I have all the green codes, etc., I'm classified as I have the disease or I have COVID just because I'm, unwashed. Which makes no sense because if I were to be carrying the disease, wouldn't it be smart to identify if I had COVID to prevent the country from having another outbreak? Upon going into a hospital, I am repeatedly asked for my green code, which is a code to show that you are not infected in terms of like not being in an area that had an outbreak or you haven't been outside of the country. Upon going to the hospital, I encountered that at least 4 times because they don't believe it's real. Or the nurse has to contact the doctor to make sure that I'm supposed to be in the certain ward that they're taking the test. So it's a lot of weird stereotypical shit going on because you basically have the evidence but people look past it. And the last thing that I find absolutely annoying because I'm an ESL teacher is you get parents that bring their kid and say, "Hey, 你看，他有什么不同的？你看，他好黑是吧？" You're in turn teaching a kid segregation. He is not like us. He is so dark, right? Which apparently is a bad thing. So, as you can see, this guy is dark. The kid doesn't give 2 shits if somebody's dark or not. A kid just wants to play and have fun. But you're putting these things into this kid's mind. You're creating a mindset and putting them into a box. So that in turn increases the amount of discrimination in the future. Because maybe they'll be afraid of black people or afraid of a certain person. Yeah, basically those are the few things that you might encounter as a black person in China. But it gets worse. I've been spat at. I've been looked at in a way that was aggressive. I've been told to leave Chinese women alone, which I'm very confused by because I don't know how this is my problem if somebody likes me. So there have been a lot of stories, but I'll probably get into them in depth into the next videos. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll keep on posting a video every Monday. If you haven't checked my last 2 videos, please go down my channel and check it out. Leave a comment, leave a like. Tell me what you think. Have you experienced the same thing for people that are in China? And give me your opinions. I'm so eager to hear that. All right. Yeah.
And I've been ready since day one. Got myself a shot of your bad one.